Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second NEFSA at the Nor'easter event. I want to take a little time to show you a couple of examples of why NEFSA exists and why fishermen want more than anything to provide a sustainable resource in strong coastal communities for our next generations. So here you see a photograph of Chase Drayobel. Chase is an 8-year-old and a 5th-generation lobsterman, currently pursuing his licensure through the student licensing program in Maine. He is the son of Zach Drayobel, a NEFSA member and commercial lobsterman in Harpswell, Maine. He is the grandson of Clayton Whitten, a 3rd-generation owner of Whitten's Lobster in Harpswell. Chase has been on boats his entire life and regularly fills in his crew whenever he is needed. Chase has a wide range of skills, but has focused his efforts on lobstering and purse seining. Chase hopes to have a future in fisheries when he grows up. And here you see a photograph of Nora June McLennan of South Thomaston. Nora is 6 years old and the daughter of Thomas and Abby McLennan, who are NEFSA members and commercial fishermen and lobstermen. Their family heritage traces back to countless generations of fishermen. When I asked them to give me a number, they lost track pretty quickly. Nora's older brother, Mason, is 8 years old and has his student lobster license with 10 traps that Nora gets to go out and help him pull. Nora took her first trip commercial fishing at just 9 days old. Thomas and Abby are also full-time menhaden seiners, where they run their vessel as a family with the children as their crew. Mason is a skiff man and Nora runs the hydraulics, but I'm also told she's the best fish shoveler around. In sending the photographs of Nora, their mom wrote, "Their ties to the water are deeper than we could ever describe. We have instilled in them a respect for our ocean and what it provides for us. Our hope is that there will be something left for them to continue these careers for themselves. Kids who dream of following in the footsteps of their previous generation and of becoming outstanding stewards in coastal communities, just like this one right here. Unfortunately, every day is a fight to continue the preservation of our customs and traditions that we heavily rely upon here in Maine and across New England. And kids like Chase and Nora are exactly why we need your help in supporting associations like this one."
A little over a year and a half ago, we started NEFSA with the belief that sustainable wild harvested fish with good stewardship is a demand that all fisheries deserve and the U.S. people. These kids are the next generation. 40 years ago, this would have been my family. This would have been us as kids. And what have we done? We've learned our best practices from those that came before us. And those best practices were used over time and effort to hone in our experiences to be targeting our stocks. And while targeting our stocks more sustainably, we provide a marketable fisheries that can keep wild, hard, healthy product on your table. I mean, right now, 90% of the seafood consumed in the United States has now become foreign product. That's a shame. It's quite alarming. And out of that 90%, literally we're only checking 1% of the imported product, and 1/3 does not meet USDA standards. Last year alone, 9 billion pounds came into the United States. So by those calculations, 3,333 million pounds of fish pretty much did not pass USDA standards, but it sits in our open market, and the problem is now our nation is feeding this to our families.
Today, our fishing industry in our region generates more than $5 billion in income and supports tens of thousands of jobs. And just as important, as was just pointed out, you provide a nutritious food supply and sustain entire communities. And I gotta say, I love the pictures of the children because so many of you here are third generation, fourth generation, fifth generation, sixth generation. It's just wonderful. And it's also something that I personally can relate to because my family were among the first white settlers of Caribou, way in the north near the Canadian border in the 1840s. And we have a sixth generation family retail lumber business. And only 1% of businesses make it to the sixth generation. You can imagine why. And I'm very proud of that. So I feel like I can relate to exactly what you're saying. As I have gotten over the years to know more and more of our fishermen and women, our lobstermen, I can't help but tell you, they are the most interesting group of people you will ever meet. First of all, half of them are characters, right? And
imagine.
they have great senses of humor. They work really hard. They persevere no matter what the federal government tries to do to them. And they are really the ultimate stewards of the resource, entrepreneurs, and conservationists. And it really is a pleasure to work with them, to represent them in Washington, and to try to teach Noah what it means to be a fisherman or a lobsterman in the state of Maine. I just want to tell you how proud I am as a senator from Maine to represent the fishermen and women and lobstermen and women from New England who have always been such great stewards of the health of our oceans and for the health of our marine life. Not to mention the fact that you put absolutely delicious food on our table, and you're the innovators, the stewards who come up with the conservation measures. So my view is that we should start listening more to you. And Jerry tonight put yet another issue on my to-do list when he told me about the foreign imports not being inspected. So it never ends, you know? Justin and Jerry, thank you so much for your invitation to join you here today. Cheers to our continued work together. And aren't we lucky to be on the coast of Maine on a beautiful Maine night? Thank you.